patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us. This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you.
Let me just say this right off the back. I'm vaccinated. So if you're going to unsubscribe or leave or go to another video, whatever. I got my J&J shot back in June when the president and his staff were bribing us with, if you get vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask anymore. At that point, I figured if I got it and got harassed, then I could wave the card in their face and tell people to fuck off and leave me alone. I didn't get the vaccine out of fear or compliance. I got it because of my two jobs, which require me to be working with the public, sometimes surrounded by large groups of people in small spaces. I got it so my coworkers in LA would feel comfortable being around me. And hey, for the most part, unless I'm in LA County where everybody needs them indoors again, it's actually been nice moving about as normal without thinking of one. Keep in mind I have two jobs IRL, one a park and rec job in LA and the other an ice hockey coach that takes me all over Southern California. When I spent Labor Day weekend in San Diego, it amazed me how open and chill San Diego was compared to LA. Even though the signs were up, nobody was really enforcing masks or social distancing measures. Not even the workers at restaurants, ice rinks, hotels. So it was nice being able to go indoors without ever having to put one on. Or having to walk 10 feet with a mask on just so you can sit down and take it off. All throughout the weekend, I was seeing large groups of hockey families gathering in the lobbies, doing team dinners and hanging out with their kids running around. All without masks on, of course. One day, while leaving my hotel to go coach a game, the elevator opened and a family of 5 was in, all with masks on. And their dad tried to tell me, "Oh no, this elevator's full. The signs say only 2 people or 1 family max." And me, clearly not caring because nothing was being enforced, I went in anyway. And I just said, "It's okay, I'm vaccinated." "So am I, but you need a mask." And I'm just like, "Relax, it's just 2 floors. The sign says a family of 5 max." And as he's saying that, I'm just stepping in and I'm just pressing the button to make the elevator go down. And I'm facing the door and I'm just saying, "It's fine. It's just 2 floors and I'll be gone." And as I kept looking forward, I know he was giving me the death stare. And when I walked out, he opened his mouth again. "You clearly don't care about the safety of other people and my kids." And I just said, "Your kids are least likely to get the virus, and all of the adults here are vaccinated." And he just said, "Hey, keep that to yourself," as I just moved further away and moved on with my life. So, even with things being more open, you still have people like that, caught up in the Delta variant fear. And of course, because of increasing numbers, that's raised more alarms. So here we are with the idea of the federal vaccine mandate for employees and businesses or services who are now requiring their workers to be vaccinated or have a legal exemption such as health reasons or religious reasons. When I received those emails from my employer, I was in a room with a bunch of coworkers, and all of them were like, yeah. And I've known that they share the same sentiment that Jimmy Kimmel has regarding the unvaccinated.
I hope you had a relaxing Labor Day. It was not a fun Labor Day weekend COVID-wise. The number of new cases is up more than 300% from a year ago. Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
A lot of my colleagues are very much about individuals not being allowed to function in society if they don't get the shot. And they've been expressing those opinions long before it became a requirement. In their eyes, they don't see this as infringing on freedom. They see this as a public health measure and believe this will get things back to normal. And truthfully, I hope they're right. And of course, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking Mark of the Beast vibes or something that feels like a precursor to it. After all, this whole pandemic has felt like something biblical, right? Now, do I think this is the actual Mark of the Beast described in Revelation? No, because the COVID vaccine mandate is over a public health crisis, not loyalty to a figure who will declare himself God and attempt to form a one-world religion, if that ever happens. And here's the thing about the first vaccine mandate. Our president could not get half the country to wear a damn mask. And now they think they can enforce millions of people to get the shot? And what's even more hypocritical is that Biden and Harris at one point said this stuff publicly about the vaccine if it got administered under the Trump era.
When we finally do, God willing, get a vaccine, who's going to take the shot? Who's going to take the shot? You can be the first one to say, sign me up. I trust vaccines. I trust scientists, but I don't trust Donald Trump.
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
But now that they're in power, it's basically get this shot or else you can't work, or enforce this or you'll get fined. And as of right now, the official federal rule is employers with 100 or more workers must have their entire workforce vaccinated, plus all federal workers, nursing home workers, hospitals, etc. But when will we reach the point where it's 50 or more, or 25 or more, or all businesses, whether corporate or private? After all, it's just 2 weeks to flatten the curve. It's just a mask, just put it on. It's just 2 masks, it makes more sense. It's just a few months, come on, it's just a few months. Nah, it's okay, it's just a year. Come on, man, it's just a shot. It's just 2 shots. It's just a booster. I get it, I'm sick of this too. It's also to the point where if you want to go to sports games or concerts, or many places for that matter, you must show proof you got the shot. And it's quite funny that people who are against voter ID laws because they think they're racist are all in favor of vaccine passports. So you don't want illegal immigrants to show their paperwork, but law-abiding citizens must show theirs? It's got to go one or the other, my friend. Look, at the end of the day, I'm in favor of what will allow us to continue on as normal. People want to attend sports games. They want things open. They want to go on as normal. So, it's either shut everything down again, which according to the charts worked so well before, or try something new here. Yes, I hated the mandates when we went to SummerSlam in Las Vegas this year. But hey, at least those of us who went got to enjoy the show rather than see it get shut down. And truthfully, most of us in the stadium took our mask off when the event started. I don't know what health measures will be in place in December when I go to Metallica's 40th anniversary shows at the Chase Center in San Francisco, but as long as the shows can go on, then I'll deal with the bullshit. We all want the same thing. We all want things to go back to normal, or as normal as things can get. But both sides continue to not cooperate with each other because you have those who enjoy the chaos and resentment towards one another. Like I tell my hockey team all the time, imagine how good you guys can be when you work together. And in terms of resentment, it's like being on a hockey team, or any sports team for that matter. You have the players who have the drive and mentality to do what's best for the team, and you have the players who always do stupid shit on the ice or in the locker room that hurt the team, ultimately. And it doesn't help when they have parents who tell the coach, don't target him, it's not his fault, he's been diagnosed with whatever the fuck they want to use as a disability crutch. At first, the coach punishes the whole team to get the 2 or 3 players in line, but because these cancer players in question remain defiant and keep doing it anyway because they always blame the other teammates, the good teammates get resentful of everyone and start thinking, dude, this is bullshit. So in the eyes of the people who do support the lockdowns and the mandates as a way to combat the public health crisis, they see the people who aren't getting the vaccines or practicing the health measures as the problem and the reason for the Delta variant spread. And on the other side, in the eyes of the people who are against the mandates, they see the people who support the mandates and take Fauci's word for gospel as the problem because they think resisting will get things back to normal. And somewhere down in the middle of that, there is the truth and the root cause for everything going to shit. But the damage between both sides is already done. However, there is one thing that will be a major consequence of the federal government mandating this. Massive resignations or firings, either one. And the timing could not be any worse when it comes to Biden throwing this down, as you have the Afghanistan debacle lowering his approval rating along with a cratering economy featuring a labor shortage where it pays more to stay home than go to work, and now we have the prospects of more people being out of work due to these mandates. Only time will tell at this point. So, ultimately this begs the question, do I support the mandate? Now, I asked on a poll, and most of you guys said, no, I don't support it, or it's tough to say. Well, for me, it is tough to say, because by sheer virtue of me already having the shot, that kind of means I support the forced vaccinations by default. And because I already said in a prior video that if my employer requires it, then I'll get it. Well, that time has now come, and it looks like for once I was ahead of the curve. Prior to this, my employers were sending emails stating to confirm whether or not I've been vaccinated, and I had to report it to the operations managers. I also really, really love what I do in real life, so for me in my situation, I can't afford to lose my jobs. But am I a fan of forced mandates, period? No. I hated the lockdowns. I hate the mask mandates, especially when they never made sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to keep them on if everyone around you is vaccinated. I was always in favor of personal choice, and while I never enjoyed the government telling people what to do and how to operate their businesses, I was always in favor of businesses making their own choices regarding the health measures. People deserve a chance at finding places that suit their needs, and if they don't feel safe at a place that isn't enforcing any COVID restrictions, then surely they can find a place where they feel safe that is. Same goes with vaccine rules at your workplace. Yeah, it sucks for those who are choosing not to get the shot, and I would like to think that there should be options for workplaces that require it or not. And for those who are choosing not to get the shot at a job that requires it, I genuinely hope you can shop around and find another gig, have one confirmed, and then you can tell your employer to fuck off. I made the choice that suits me and what my needs are, and I hope you can continue to do the same for you. For those who are choosing not to get the shot because you have a legit medical reason not to, or a legit religious reason, I hope the system is fair. I understand why there are fears of taking it because their bodies might not react well to it, and I really hope that can fall under medical exemption. But I'm not holding my breath, especially when I hear about stories like this.
Disrupt the supply chain of nurses have said they will quit sooner than get a vaccination. And Gerald, your wife, is a nurse, and we have permission to talk about this.
Yeah, she's a nurse. And so when we talked about what people should do with forced vaccines, which is coming up, October 1st, I think, is the deadline for a lot of people in different hospital systems around the country where they have to have the vaccination or be very, very, very clear about this, be fired. There is no grace. There is nothing after that. You don't go on like some administrative leave. You don't have to work from home. You are fired. You are done. So my wife was given the choice, right? Okay, get the vaccine or be fired.
Yeah.
And so at the time,
your pregnant wife.
Well, so we didn't know that at the time. She's breastfeeding right now. We were a little concerned about that. There are several reasons that we're worried about this, but we're not anti-vax at all. My wife actually made fun of me for saying, "Hey, you should watch this thing about vaccinations" early on in our relationship. So it was kind of funny. We're not even close to that. Then we find out my wife is pregnant, and my wife works from home 100% of the time. She never even goes near the hospital. And my wife has a note from her OBGYN who said, I would not recommend you take this. And she has it from her primary care provider. She's got all of that, and she's in her first trimester. Do you know what they do with first trimester pregnant women? They give you nothing. So they give you nothing. They say, look, in the first trimester, you need to be as careful as humanly possible. And you know what they're telling my wife right now? None of that matters.
Yeah.
None of that matters. You are going to have to get the vaccine and put your
the hospital where your wife works.
Right.
Yeah, not her doctors.
No. The hospital where she works. I'm not gonna.
And to be clear,
they've been
just
great
to be clear, your wife, I would assume, wouldn't take ivermectin while she's in her first trimester either.
My wife won't take ibuprofen while she's pregnant.
Well, I know there are plenty of the supposed 81 million Biden voters who are saying this is exactly what they voted for. To those who voted for the most popular elected president in history and are now saying, I didn't vote for this, I just have 3 words.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
He did. Yes, you 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 did. Brett.
You agree with me or disagree with me, leave a comment in the section below. I will also answer some of your comments in a future viewers comment video. So by all means, if you have a question for me as well, I would love to answer it. I'm Desert Coyote 22, and thanks for listening.